Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. And instead of doing some comics this time, we're going to take a look at some more Pulp magazines. Yeah, a few weeks ago I did a couple of them on Pulps, one on some science fiction and fantasy Pulps, and then some on westerns. Here's another batch of classic science fiction. That's amazing, fantastic, and startling tales of classic science fiction from the era of the Popes. Yeah, and if you recall, I did a little bit of background on Pulps magazines. What are considered the Pulps ran from about from the 1890s to the late 1950s. We still have some, but there are just a few around today, but they're not classified as pulps because they're not the large size, and they're not made from the same kind of pulpy paper. And these kind of passed into paperbacks and comics. Yeah, remember, a lot of the writers and artists who worked in the working in the pulp magazines also later worked in comic books. So I wanted to start off here with this issue, Startling Stories. It's great science fiction, and it's great cover painting. I guess that's a fairly famous cover painting because I've seen that used several times for other things, like featuring stuff about pulps or reprinting pulp stories. And this is Startling Stories. It's the spring issue from 1945. It was a quarterly magazine, and this cover artist is, and I think some of the interior art as well, is Earl Berge. You can see here the main story of the novel is Red Son of Danger, a Captain Future novel by Brett Sterling. And that kind of surprised me because usually I see Captain Future written by Edmund Hamilton. Oh, but he's not left out. Here is The Isle of Unreason, a Hall of Fame story, which means it's probably a reprinted story by Edmund Hamilton. It's just a real short one. And remember, these were illustrated as well, and had some great illustrations. And here I had some nicely stylized illustrations for this magazine. You see here, I don't know, red. Oh, if you can see it, the red sun. These are awkward. There you go, Red Son of Danger. It's nicely stylized. And here's another one by him. I really like this one. You can see that. And when I mean by stylized, it isn't naturalistic, but it is nicely stylized. Some nice artwork. And I just love this cover. And I loved Captain Future. I've got a few novels of Captain Future stories that had been reprinted in novel form. And here, follow that up with Fantastic Story. And this is from 1951. Not quite as nice cover painting, but it still is a very nice cover painting. Beyond Pluto by John Scott Campbell. It's the full novel. Cosmic Pantograph and Via Asteroid. Remember, these also often had little articles about science or history or what have you, as well as the novels, full-length novels, and short stories. Let's see what illustrations we had here. Oh yeah, this is a nice one. Here, I wanted to show that one. Yeah, that's really nice. See, most of these don't have credits for the artists, so I don't know who did them. And here's another one, The Trailblazer. Okay, and then we go from that fantastic to this fantastic, Fantastic Adventures, Whom the Gods Would Slay, by Ivor Jorgensen. So that sounds like a Norwegian name, and it also sounds like it's probably made up because the main characters, it's takes place in Viking times and stuff, and it's a thrill-packed tale of Earth's first invaders, and that's pretty much as a humorous illustration. They're being invaded by these aliens, and they're so tiny and stuff. The Vikings just push them aside. And this is not quite as spectacular as some of the others, but this is really nice as well. If you can see that, yeah. And I think that was the only one I wanted to show from that issue. And that was Fantastic Adventures. Did I say that? Yeah, 1951. Now this is probably my favorite, and it's more fantastic. This is Famous Fantastic Mysteries, and this is probably in the worst shape I've got. The front cover is completely detached. The back cover is completely missing, and but here it features the story The Lion's Way, a novel of dark trails by C.T. Stoneham. Never heard of, don't know who it is. I don't know who did this cover painting. That's a nice cover painting as well. But this is a very Tarzan-esque story. Because it's a jungle story. This is Fantastic Adventures, and this is also from 1951. And the story, this is a character of who was his Caspa of the lions, and he was raised by lions, much like as Tarzan was, and it has a nice adventure story in there. But in this one, Famous Fantastic Mysteries, 1948. I read that wrong. With illustrations by Finley, Lawrence, and Klein. Off the top of my head, I don't know who Lawrence and Klein are, but I do know that Finley is Virgil Finley, and he has some really, really nice illustrations in here, if my bookmarks don't fall out. Okay, let's start off with this one here, except when I want them to, and then they don't do it. Okay. And this is very dark, and I don't know if you can see this very well. This is come out very dark, but it's a beautiful illustration of the jungle and the lion and the small child. And then here, this is very lovely. Take that one out. Very lovely, and small child and the lioness. You see, and this is Virgil Finley, and I told you I mentioned Virgil Finley before, and I'm planning on doing an episode just on him, and this is just great with the monkeys. Can you see that? All the Virgil Finley's doing the monkeys on a very Tarzan-like figure in the background, and then we round that out. And I read this Lion's Way story, and I really liked it. And here's another beautiful illustration by Finley. Oh, that is just wonderful. You see that? It's just a wonderful illustration. And get that over here. Okay. Now we go to Amazing Stories. This is volume 23, number 9 from 1949. So I gather that they this was a monthly title, and I gather that they numbered each one 1 to 12 for the year, and then each volume for each year. That's the way I gather. And here he has Swamp Girl of Venus by H.H. Harmon. Who's the artist here? Lowly? I don't know who that is. And this is a very exciting cover illustration. And this looks like it's a I haven't read this one. Looks like it's a what is classified as a sword and planet stories, kind of along the lines of the John Carter of Mars from Edgar Rice Burroughs. And that also reminds me of one thing I wanted to mention in this one is that at the end there is a little small piece about Edgar Rice Burroughs in there. So here, as I said, Amazing Stories. And then I don't know who the illustrator is here. And it's not quite as tight, not as lovely as Virgil Finley, that's for sure. But it is still some very nice illustration. and this double page spread. And then I wanted to just take a look at this other one here. Oh, for a different story. This is called Erdus Cliff. I don't know what that means, and I don't know anything about this story, but I just love that illustration. You can see if you can see. I can't hold that open and move my, maybe you can see it better this way. Yeah, it's kind of awful, but it's the only way you're going to see that, because I need both hands. This is, yeah, kind of a demonic thing there. And then we finish this up with this amazing stories. This is from 1951, volume 25, number 6. And it's another good, exciting, more spacey looking cover illustration. And it says, Who Sows the Wind by Raj Phillips. Oh, let's see. And then what do we have here? Who Sows the Wind? And it looks like an American city, and it's pretty much underwater, kind of like canals. And the helicopters, can you see that? And then let's see what we've got on this next one. Oh, this looks like the two-timer. Looks like some kind of gizmo involved in this. I don't know what that gizmo's for, but it's got gizmo in there, and with a little bit of romance. And then this is more Nuisance Value by Walt Sheldon. It's more spacey, and it looks like it's got more humor from the way that looks. And then we see what the last illustration. Oh, this is a nice one. Flight to Dishonor by Gerald Vance. Come on, that's a real nice spacey illustration. I really like that. And that's a secret method for the mastery of life. The Rosicrucians. Yeah, they had a lot of ads in these Pulp magazines for the Rosicrucians, which seems kind of odd. Okay, and that's what I've got for you this time. Lots of fun, lots of action and adventure of a pulpy nature with the Pulps. Oh yeah, and please like, share, subscribe. Tell me which of these Pulps you liked best. I'll have a few more Pulps I'll show you sometime. And tell me in the comments below. And remember, comics and pulps are art.